I'm going to explain a problem that I've been having with Darktable for a number of years now. Ever since they went from version 2 to version 3, this problem has existed for me. I'm going to start by showing you a test directory of about 20 images that I have taken both in RAW and JPEG. And when I open up the first of these in OpenView, you're looking at the embedded JPEG preview, which is 1080 pixels tall. If I click on the right arrow, it will then go to the JPEG version of this, which is 3448 pixels tall. Let me go back to the RAW file, and if I hit F, this is the full resolution of the preview embedded JPEG, which is small. I'm going to hit F again to go back, and then we're going to go back to the JPEG version, and if I hit F, you can see that this is a high resolution picture. The thing to see here is that both of these, the colors look the same. So when you display these in Darktable, looking at the embedded preview image for the RAW file should look the same as the JPEG file. So now I'm going to close OpenView and I'm going to go into Darktable and I am going to add all of those JPEGs and RAW files to my library. And now I also want to point out that in my settings, in the lighttable settings, I have the settings set that in lighttable it should never use a RAW file instead of the embedded JPEG. So what should happen is when I'm looking at these in lighttable, if I zoom in like this, you should be looking at the embedded JPEG. And when I go to the next one, they're a little bit different, but they're essentially the same. I think that the reason they're different is the way that the color management is being handled. But when I hit Tab to pop this out to full screen, so I'm going to click here, I'm going to hit Tab. You saw how it came in as a JPEG, as the JPEG, but then it reprocessed it to the nasty unprocessed RAW file. If I scroll down to the JPEG now, that's what the JPEG looks like. And I'm going to go to the next one, see how it changed. It came in as the JPEG, the embedded JPEG, and then it changed to a pre-processed RAW. That's what the JPEG looked like. And we'll see it again. There's the JPEG, and there's the JPEG. So it's reprocessing and showing the pre-processed RAW instead of showing me the embedded JPEG, which should look a lot like this. Okay, I'm going to hit Tab again and go back. Okay, so now I'm back at this view. Now, when I'm going over these files with a client, I don't use this file manager layout because when I hit Tab, the picture doesn't fill the screen. What I use is the full preview layout. So let's go into that and I'll show you again that the same thing holds. So when I click that, now I'm looking at the JPEG. If I go to the next one, that's the RAW file. And then that's the JPEG version of that. There's a RAW file, there's a JPEG, the RAW file, and the JPEG. I don't want my clients to see the unprocessed RAW file because it doesn't look good. What I want them to see is the embedded JPEG, which should look like a lot like this. And that's especially true when you get into images like this one, where I'm starting to get some clipping in the whites, and Darktable introduces artifacts that I can get rid of later, but I don't want my clients to see this pre-processed RAW file. I want them to see the embedded JPEG, which looks good. To deal with this problem, I have had to start shooting in RAW and JPEG, split the RAW files and the JPEGs into two separate directories, bring the JPEGs into Darktable and do all the ratings that way, and then figure out how to transfer the ratings back over to the RAW files to do my actual processing. I think I've figured that problem out using the RAWs and the JPEGs, but I shouldn't have to, because this option that's up here that's supposed to be preventing the RAW files from being used rather than the embedded JPEGs is supposed to work, and it just doesn't. I don't know why it does this, but it does, and I'm just kind of stuck here trying to band-aid over it when I shouldn't have to.